Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so imagine having just a stack of fascinating sources, articles, research, maybe your own notes.
Right. And you want to cut through all the noise to get right to the core, what's really important quickly.
Exactly. That's what we do here. This is a deep dive tailored just for you into your material.
And today we're diving into excerpts from A Skyward Momentum by Julian Kelly. This is the first book in his Seasons of Success series.
Right, and it follows the journey of this young entrepreneur, Jay, as he navigates some pretty significant trials and, well, ultimately finds triumph.
Yeah, it's quite a story.
Our mission here is to unpack the key lessons from Jay's experience.
Yeah.
We're looking at, not just the nuts and bolts of building a business, but also that crucial element the book really emphasizes, the personal growth required to genuinely dictate the terms of your own success.
Yeah, extracting those valuable nuggets about resilience, strategy, and what it really means to become, as the book puts it, unstoppable.
Exactly. Think of this as a shortcut, maybe, to understanding some fundamental principles. Entrepreneurship, personal development.
All seen through the very relatable lens of one person's often challenging path. And what immediately stands out in these sources is this idea that the journey is as much, maybe even more, about becoming the right person as it is about building the right business.
Okay, let's unpack this then, starting right where the book does.
Yeah.
What Jay feels is the end of the road. He's hit rock bottom.
Oh, yeah. Feeling completely like a failure, despite all his ambition, he's really in a bad spot.
Adrift, isolated. That's how the book paints it. And then this pivotal moment happens.
Right. A chance encounter with an elderly man in a park. And this man offers some wisdom that just completely reframes Jay's whole perspective.
And it's simple, but it's profound, isn't it? The old man tells him, look, this isn't the end.
No, just a detour.
Just a detour. And success isn't some straight line. The real key is simply to keep moving forward.
Keep going, yeah.
No matter what.
No matter what. And this is where the source material brings in some pretty powerful voices that reinforce this idea. The old man actually quotes Eric Thomas.
Oh, the classic line.
Yeah. When you want to succeed as badly as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. Powerful stuff.
Which ties directly into Earl Nightingale's definition that the book also references. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal.
Exactly. It's not just the final outcome, right? It's the ongoing process, the journey towards something meaningful.
So this shifts the whole idea. Success isn't something you chase externally.
We're captured.
It's something that's drawn to you because of the person you become.
Right.
The emphasis is all internal.
Totally. So cultivating things like discipline, determination, resilience.
Developing a growth mindset, that belief your abilities aren't fixed.
Right. It's saying that working on yourself, that's the most effective way, really, to attract success.
And a fundamental piece of that internal shift, according to the book, is cultivating gratitude.
Developing an attitude of gratitude for, every experience, whether it feels good or challenging.
That's what paves the way for growth, every little step.
It is progress when you look at it through that lens, even the tiny ones.
The old man also introduces Jay to the power of his thoughts. Tells him to unlock the power within your thoughts.
For they have the potential to materialize in your reality, and the importance of clearly visualizing those desired outcomes.
But crucially, the book makes it clear this isn't just like wishful thinking.
No, exactly. The old man adds that it's the deliberate and persistent efforts you put forth that will bridge the gap between imagination and achievement.
So visualization is powerful, but it needs action. You still have to do the work.
Absolutely. And speaking of action and facing challenges, the chapter leaves Jay inspired by David Goggins. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Right. Embracing those tough moments is necessary steps.
So thinking about that idea, detour versus end of the road, how might that shift in perspective apply to maybe a setback you've experienced in your own journey?
Could viewing it differently reveal opportunities for, reassessment and growth you didn't see before?
Worth thinking about. But even with that initial spark, Jay is still wrestling with despair in the next part of the book.
Right. That emptiness is still there.
Right.
And he realizes he desperately needs help. But there's a huge barrier.
His pride, yeah. He's burned bridges, making reaching out feel almost impossible.
This is so common, isn't it? We feel we have to be totally self-reliant, that asking for help is somehow weak.
Yeah, definitely. But then the memory of the old man's wisdom comes back, trust and compassion.
So Jay has to confront how scary it feels to really entrust others, to let them see his vulnerability, maybe offer support.
And overcoming that instinct to just struggle alone is a massive turning point. He finally takes that difficult step, reaches out to a colleague, Sarah.
And the book highlights her perspective, which is so important. True strength is found in connections.
Right. Trusting others takes courage, and setbacks really can be stepping stones. And she adds that vital point about extending kindness to yourself.
Yeah, self-compassion.
Sarah shares some really practical wisdom on building trust, drawing from her own experience, even in network marketing. It's grounded in active listening, empathy.
A genuine interest in other people.
Exactly. She emphasizes that trust isn't just built by what you say, but how you make people feel.
Seen, heard, cherished. Jay has this light bulb moment where he realizes that in his intense focus on sales,
he completely neglected the relationship side.
Totally. Authenticity, sincerity, those become paramount.
And it's this breakthrough, this understanding of connection that immediately leads to the next phase for Jay. Sarah introduces him to Alex.
The visionary entrepreneur.
Yeah, someone who built his success by empowering others.
That moment really highlights the power of that support system starting to form around him. So thinking about this in your own life. When you're facing a challenge, who is someone you could trust and maybe seek help from? And how could actively practicing genuine connection, rooted in listening and empathy, apply to your own relationships, professional or personal?
Good questions. So, with Sarah's guidance, Jay continues learning. He's soaking up insights from marketing seminars.
And a really crucial concept emerges here. The art of positioning.
Right. This is about getting incredibly clear on who your product or service is for.
And just as importantly, who it's not for.
Yeah, the book argues you just can't appeal to everyone. You need that laser-sharp focus on a specific audience.
And the source connects this back to some, timeless advice. Jay recalls Jim Rohn linking to Zig Ziglar.
The famous principle. You can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want.
And that's presented as the heart of effective positioning. It's not just selling to people.
No, it's about genuinely helping your ideal customers solve their problems, achieve their desires, finding that sweet spot where your expertise meets their actual needs.
To find that target audience, the book explains you need a deep understanding of what you offer, the specific problems it solves,
and who benefits the most. And actually, being transparent about who it's not for saves you time and energy. It's counterintuitive, maybe, but true.
Inspired by meeting Alex, Jay starts shifting towards a really service-oriented approach. He realizes the deepest fulfillment comes from empowering others.
Yeah, aligning that passion for helping with his business efforts creates this powerful, positive cycle. Impact, connections, trust.
Putting this into practice, according to the source, means actively identifying client needs, developing tailored plans.
And the book strongly emphasizes this. Placing the client's success first is what ultimately leads to your thriving business, plus that sense of meaning.
So infusing a business with this service spirit involves clearly conveying the transformative value, understanding the audience's pain points, their aspirations.
Communicating with authenticity, empathy, active listening, offering genuine support.
The book talks about this ripple effect it creates. Building a strong reputation, clients become advocates.
Fostering a community, maybe, through workshops or networking. Inspiring others. It changes the whole dynamic from just a transaction.
It becomes a relationship focused on empowerment.
Exactly. So, thinking about your own work or projects, who is your ideal audience? What specific problems are you uniquely positioned to help them solve?
And how could you maybe shift your focus to genuinely serving their success in a deeper way?
As Jay progresses, though, he hits another point where he feels stuck. Stagnation.
Right. His old methods, traditional advertising, standard branding, they just aren't working like they used to.
The market's changing. He realizes he needs something more, to be extraordinary, inventive.
Even audacious, the book says.
So he seeks Sarah's wisdom again. And she guides him back to the audience, saying transformation starts with really understanding their deepest desires, yearnings, struggles.
This understanding sparks what the book calls a voyage of creativity.
Yeah, meaning innovation, unconventional alliances, partnerships, exploring new tech. It demands trusting yourself, embracing calculated risks.
Diligent research, fearless experimentation, gathering feedback constantly.
The core demands here, the book states, are unwavering authenticity, relentless innovation, and sticking to your core values.
So the new approach pivots. It's less about selling directly, more about providing immense value up front.
Nurturing, informing, captivating the audience through content, blog posts, videos, webinars, using social media not just to broadcast, but to connect.
Forging genuine relationships.
Right. And this period of innovation gets tested immediately when, later on, a formidable rival emerges.
The competition, threatening everything Jay's built.
Creates intense pressure. Innovate quickly, stay ahead.
But Jay wisely uses market research, something Sarah had pushed earlier. He dives deep into understanding his competitor.
Identifying weaknesses, but also acknowledging their strengths, their shortcomings. You need the full picture.
And he finds a critical vulnerability. The competitor's product lacks essential features customers really want.
Bingo. Jay's response is swift, strategic. He redesigns his own product, specifically integrating those desired features.
Directly addressing the competitor's limitations and surpassing them.
His marketing strategy then completely transforms, highlighting these new features, celebrating the unique value.
And the result? A rapid surge in market share.
The powerful lesson here, according to the source, is that understanding your adversaries isn't just about competition.
It reveals crucial opportunities for differentiation.
Exactly. And drives essential innovation in your own offering. The book even suggests this applies beyond business. Finding a weakness in a personal challenge can show you how to turn it into an opportunity.
So think about a current challenge or a change happening in your field. How are you adapting?
Could diligent research or maybe a deeper understanding of the competition, whether that's another business or just the status quo, reveal an opportunity for you for differentiation, transformation?
Something to consider. Continuing his search for new ways to push boundaries, the book introduces Jay to a really interesting concept in marketing.
Tension as a hidden catalyst.
Right. That spark of urgency, that surge of pressure that can drive action.
The source gives those relatable examples, like booking travel online.
Only one room left. Or 5 people are looking right now.
Yeah, that psychological tension nudges hesitant buyers to act.
So Jay starts implementing this strategically. Limited time discounts, creating scarcity around new launches.
Highlighting satisfied customers' social proof. The goal is making people feel a compelling reason to act now.
And the results, according to the book, aren't just a spike in sales, though that happens.
Right, there's a shift in the relationship, too. Customers who act become loyal advocates. The community gets stronger, woven together partly by this tension and the trust built through social proof.
His business starts being seen as an authority.
But, the journey isn't linear. Later in the book, Jay faces more big obstacles. Negativity.
An expansion effort doesn't hit projections. He's feeling overwhelmed, burnt out, doubting himself again.
And in this moment, he runs into an old friend, Nathan, who's now a life coach.
And Nathan introduces him to the power of positive thinking. The idea that our thoughts have a tangible impact can attract positive outcomes.
Nathan explains it's not about magically getting rich overnight. It's about developing the right mindset to navigate challenges. Stay motivated.
Take the necessary steps towards your goals. Believing in yourself.
Which leads Jay to dive deeper, reading books, listening to podcasts, workshops on positive thinking, goal setting, visualization.
He consciously shifts his focus towards his accomplishments, crafts a vision for new horizons. He chooses to see challenges as growth opportunities.
The book calls this an alchemy of positivity. It helps attract clients, opportunities. His business flourishes again. He starts to really grasp the power he holds to shape his reality through his mindset.
This exploration deepens even more in a workshop on visualization and affirmations that Sarah invites him to.
Visualization is described as creating these vivid mental pictures, engaging the subconscious, etching blueprints of desires. Applies to business, personal connections.
And affirmations are presented as repeating positive statements with conviction, like a resounding chorus that rewires the subconscious.
To believe your desired destiny is not just possible, but inevitable.
The book frames this fusion of visualization and affirmations as really powerful, propelling you forward, affirming your limitless potential, the mind as an incredible tool.
So Jay commits to a daily practice, visualizing, affirming. It feels a bit weird at first, the book says.
I bet.
But soon becomes effortless, and the impact is significant increased focus, motivation.
Sarah reinforces this idea, emphasizing that success isn't just hard work or hustle.
Your thoughts, your beliefs play a major role, often unseen.
And the results Jay sees are compelling. Business thrives, attracts clients, relationships improve, smarter decisions.
He feels genuinely happier, more fulfilled. He's unlocked untapped potential.
So consider this for yourself. Where might negative thoughts be holding you back?
And how could intentionally incorporating practices like positive thinking, visualization, or affirmations maybe start to shift your perspective and actions towards what you really want to achieve?
As Jay builds on these internal shifts, he realizes something really crucial in the next section. He truly cannot do it all alone.
Right. He needs to surround himself with like-minded people who get the entrepreneurial journey. This leads him to create a mastermind group.
The book describes his research. Mastermind groups. Individuals supporting each other's growth, sharing goals, challenges, successes.
They provide a sounding board, feedback, insights. Crucially, it's about being around people invested in your success who hold you accountable.
Networking is key to finding potential members, people with shared goals, values, committed to growth. He reaches out.
And is met with surprising enthusiasm, actually.
The first meeting starts a bit awkward, maybe.
As they often do. But quickly, a deep connection forms over shared experiences, shared struggles. They commit to weekly meetings, progress sharing, support, feedback.
And the benefits Jay experiences are profound, growing confidence, learning from others.
Gaining totally new perspectives on his own challenges, an invaluable resource for growth.
He feels supported, motivated, knowing people believe in him, bouncing ideas around, getting feedback for better decisions.
And getting critical encouragement during those tough times.
Sarah's insight echoes this, noting that amazing things can happen when you surround yourself with like-minded individuals who are invested in your success.
Definitely. So, thinking about your own journey, who is currently in your core support system?
And could actively seeking out or even creating a mastermind group or a similar network provide that accountability and fresh perspective you might need right now?
Moving towards the end of the book, chapter 13, despite all this progress, Jay feels this deep restlessness, something's still missing.
Right. He realizes he never actually set a clear driving objective for his own overall journey. He's been moving, but kind of without a defined purpose.
He shares this feeling of wandering aimlessly with his mastermind group.
And they collectively reinforce a critical truth. Setting a specific, well-defined goal is vital. Without a destination, you risk just wandering. You won't unlock your potential.
And then a painful, unexpected conflict emerges. His intense, almost singular dedication to his career.
It's completely eclipsed his personal life. He unwittingly sacrificed connections, bonds.
Yeah, he feels like he's in this taxing battle, forced to choose between career and personal life.
But Sarah offers crucial guidance again. She tells him, you absolutely don't have to choose.
True success, the book argues, it's about balance, fulfillment across all areas of life.
So he needs to define a clear goal that purposefully integrates both career and personal life priorities.
Working with the group, he takes that difficult but essential step of defining this integrated goal, and this lesson gets applied immediately when he hits a roadblock in chapter 14.
Feeling stuck, frustrated after setbacks.
Sarah challenges him directly, reinforcing that earlier theme. Success isn't just luck, it's consistent effort, hard work. You need a plan, and you need action.
The group backs her up. Luck plays a small part, sure, but hard work brings success.
And they offer practical advice. Sarah says dismantle those huge aspirations into manageable, bite-sized pieces.
John emphasizes specific, measurable objectives. Katie advises consistently assessing progress, being willing to adapt.
So Jay takes their advice. Starts breaking down goals, tracking progress, making adjustments. He also reevaluates priorities.
Realizing that neglecting his personal life and health contributed massively to his stress and burnout.
His renewed focus is on that integrated plan, personal and professional goals.
As he executes this plan, he still faces setbacks, of course.
But now, equipped with his support system and clearer vision, he perseveres. And the book highlights a key realization here.
Success isn't just reaching the end goal.
No, it's profoundly about the journey itself, the lessons learned, the person you become. It's about that integrated plan for a fulfilling whole life.
So, thinking about your own journey, have you truly defined a clear goal that encompasses both your professional ambitions and your personal aspirations?
And are you actively breaking that goal down, tracking progress, adapting when you hit those inevitable roadblocks?
Finally, in the concluding chapters and the epilogue, Jay reflects on his entire journey, from that despair at the end of the road
to achieving significant goals. And the book powerfully reinforces that true success, for him, turned out to be much more than just reaching a destination.
It was the whole journey. The trials, triumphs, obstacles overcome, people met.
And most importantly, the lessons learned. It's about the person he was forged into by those experiences.
Key lessons distilled here include Resilience, that absolute necessity of keep going when things feel impossible.
Bouncing back from failure, not just by enduring it, but by using it as a learning opportunity. Plus, discipline, focus, determination.
The book describes this as becoming equipped, being able to keep pushing when others quit, thriving under pressure.
Managing emotions so they empower you, learning to trust your instincts.
The true measure of success for Jay becomes not just what he accomplished, but how he did it. The relationships built, reliability, efficiency.
Going the extra mile. The book highlights his deep gratitude for his mentors, colleagues, friends that support system.
Sacrifice was necessary, the book states, but ultimately worth it. The journey fundamentally transformed him.
Kindled deeper empathy, compassion. This extends beyond personal success to a commitment to community, giving back, mentoring.
Supporting charities.
And the book makes clear the journey isn't over. Jay's eager for future challenges, seeing them as invitations for more growth.
He finds solace, equilibrium. Flourishing now extends beyond career to his personal life, too.
So the final definition of true success offered here isn't just money or things.
No, it's the richness of the journey, the lessons learned, and the positive impact you can then have on others.
Becoming, as the book concludes, an unyielding architect of your own destiny, illuminated by purpose. The final word is simple. He would be unstoppable.
So, wrapping up this deep dive into a skyward momentum, we've tracked Jay's path from, well, despair to embodying what the book calls unstoppable.
And it's clear success here isn't presented as some neat linear path. It's a winding, often difficult road.
Paved with personal growth, resilience forged in fire, strategic adaptation, and the courage to lean on others.
We pulled out those key insights. The power of vulnerability and genuine connection.
Positioning your unique value by solving others' problems.
Leveraging market understanding, using psychological triggers like tension.
Harnessing the incredible power of your own mindset through positive thinking, visualization, affirmations.
The essential role of building a supportive network, like a mastermind group.
And the need to define a purpose that truly balances both career ambition and personal fulfillment.
It's striking how consistently Jay's story reinforces that idea becoming successful isn't primarily about mastering external tactics alone,
but fundamentally about the person you become through facing and integrating those difficult challenges.
Yeah. And perhaps the most powerful insight from this source material is that the true measure of success for Jay wasn't the final destination or the accumulation.
It was the journey itself. The lessons learned along the way.
And the capacity that journey built within him to then have a meaningful impact on the lives of others.
Which leaves us with this thought for you to consider. If becoming unstoppable is less about never stumbling and more about how you choose to respond to those setbacks. What challenging experience in your own life could you view differently right now? Not as an endpoint, not as a failure,
but simply as a detour, a necessary part of the journey towards becoming the person who is ready to attract the success you define.